It's full of them!
Playing the demo of Demolition Mode at PAX East this year had me incredibly excited about Red Faction Armageddon. It looked prettier and had a ton of potential coming off of Guerrilla. Then the game started getting poor reviews and I became less enthralled with owning Armageddon, but sooner or later knew my curiosity would win out and I would end up playing the title. After you have all the appropriate info loaded to your PS3 to ensure a smooth playthrough, you'll get right into a typical tutorial level in which you'll learn to kill everything. It's all very deja vu, something you've probably seen before, but the most notable and awesome thing was when the game asked me to look up, which was less of an intro to seeing and more to determine whether I invert my look. It saved my preferences and secured a place in the halls of great design, which is unfortunately an anomaly in Armageddon. The technology that you were fighting over in Guerrilla has now been implemented in repair modules and Jedi tricks. Get ready to spend most of the game fixing the damaged staircases that your enemies blew up trying to kill you. Yes, you were practically standing on top of that rocket when it blew up. No, it didn't hurt you. And yes, you will now have to rebuild 3 flights of stairs to get to where you once were. Not to mention the shoddy design where if you leave a designated fighting area in an effort to maybe, find cover or juggle enemies, you're required to return to the designated area within 10 seconds or face some sort of mystery death that has no real connection to the plot. The big problem is, I don't really care what I'm doing in this game or why, which is counterintuitive to any other Red Faction title I've ever played. Everything feels haphazard and most of the chapters involve stumbling upon large quantities of enemies and having to kill them all. Yes, I get that this is a shooter, but the gameplay doesn't advance the plot. Your Situation Awareness module, or SAM, interjects every so often with a few lines to let you know what happens next, and that's just lazy design. The only moment where I feel anything in this game is when I attempt to use the repair module to bring people back to life. No matter how hard you mash L2, you cannot put the red smear that was their brain back together.
You're gonna get us all killed!
Mason, what are you doing?
Saving your ass!
Difficulty on casual and normal is ridiculously simple. It takes a lot to die. Even on insane difficulty, it's possible to just run through the majority of certain levels without any sort of combat tactics. Gameplay mechanics handhold throughout every difficulty, instantly training on any enemy and making combat the most simple. Ammo is bountiful, and even if it weren't, your melee weapon, the Maul, is way overpowered and doesn't require a cooldown or any sort of replenishable resource to use. Not to mention the magnet gun that allows you to attach one end to your enemy and the other to the ceiling, effectively rendering their HP pointless. 99% of the time you will destroy your enemy regardless of how large or small the drop was. The weapons are sweet, it's no lie. Running around with a great deal of overpowered weapons, destroying masses of enemies in ways the game hasn't intended is a lot of fun. I mean, I doubt THQ gave you the magnet gun with the idea that you'll use it against the many mini-bosses throughout the game and treat them like tiny dolls that you toss about. Yes, the characters get larger, but even when you can't attach the first magnet to a boss, you can most definitely attach the second one to them and deliver a mountain of debris. So even if the game is fun, I don't think a good review should be based on the fact that I've taken advantage of a design flaw to carry myself through it. I mean, I used the magnet gun in lieu of the provided mech suit and did just fine. That's wrong. This title is pretty, it really is, but that isn't enough to save Armageddon. It's a poorly designed game riding on the coattails of a good name. Red Faction Armageddon took a franchise that had major political undertones and interesting plot devices, such as having the people you took orders from in the first Red Faction become the force you're trying to take down in future titles, and turned it into just fighting aliens. And it isn't even that challenging. Red Faction is really about the political topology of a planet over the course of centuries, and you get to see that develop throughout the games, which is truly amazing, but Armageddon doesn't fit into that thoughtful design you might be looking for in this series. I'd say preserve the good memories you have of the Red Faction name by avoiding this title at all costs. There are so many more games that do the overall concept Armageddon attempted better, and in reality, this doesn't even feel like a Red Faction game, so you might as well be playing something else.